Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Angels, Personal Encounters with Divine Beings of Light by Tricia McCannon, narrated by Melissa Redmond. Part 1. Understanding Angels. It is only in the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. The Little Prince. The Miracle of Angels. Angels. What an amazing topic. Perhaps one of the most illuminating and uplifting subjects in the world. As young children, many of us felt the presence of these divine helpers. But as we grew up, we were told to focus on the real world and to put such intangible or imaginary friends aside. Nevertheless, angels are real, and they have been the stuff of legends and history for centuries. They appear in the literature of almost every race, every religion, every culture, and every land. The word angel comes from the Greek word angelos. This is a translation of the original Hebrew word malach, which originally meant the shadow side of God. Later it came to mean a messenger of God. As agents of divine intervention, angels have been known to deliver prophecies and messages from heaven, aid in the healing of the sick, lead people to safety, protect soldiers in battle, find lost objects, vanquish armies, and assist the passing of souls from life into death. Angels not only appear in the ancient literature and in the stories of the Bible, they are with us today, interacting with people around the world. In fact, many people are having life-changing experiences with them. Angels emanate a deep kind of joy, lightness, and a grace of uplifting peace. Almost as if by their very touch, presence, or appearance, they reassure us that everything will be all right, and things are unfolding according to a divine plan. As great beings of light and inspiration, angels open our minds to the possibility that we are living in a light-filled universe, where anything is possible. As a lifelong mystic and spiritual teacher, I have had the privilege of interacting with angelic beings my whole life. They have appeared to me when I have least expected them and in moments of desperation. They have arrived in times of crisis, moments of peace, and in the quiet, still hours spent in nature and meditation. At times, I have seen them only in my inner vision, and at other times, I have seen them as real and alive as any human being. I have felt them arrive as creative muses, agents of healing, and harbingers of abiding peace. I have watched angels stream forth from the rays of the morning sun and appear as mediators of balance to diffuse a violent situation. They have come in answer to my prayers and the prayers of others, and have stood at the bedside of the infirm and dying. I also have known angels to offer counsel and support at the birth of a creative project, and have witnessed them produce miracles of healing and synchronicity. The primary mission of all angels is to remind us of the sacredness of everyday life and to help us on our journeys here on earth. Yet these loving messengers of good rarely choose to draw attention to themselves because they are beings in service to the Creator. They take no credit for themselves, but rather act in deepest humility and always for the greatest good. Let us open our hearts to the possibility that these powerful beings of love can interact with humankind in the most unexpected and wonderful ways. Angels work through invitation. Angels are the spiritual beings that are part of every person's support system. Before we were born, angels knew about our spiritual history and what we were intended to do in our lifetimes. They also understand the personal life challenges we must face to overcome our deficiencies and move toward greater spiritual mastery. They can be powerful resources for each one of us if only we will allow ourselves to tune into them. Angels do not operate through interference. They work through invitation. They need to be invited into your life through prayer, meditation, or invitation. As beings of divine service, they always honor the use of our free will, so they will usually wait to be invited unless it is a life or death situation. What we choose to do in the life we have been given is up to us. Most people are blithely unaware of the presence of angels, and we often choose to go it alone. However, if we are willing to ask our angels for assistance and then listen with an open heart and mind, our angels will respond. Then, they can begin to operate more openly in our lives. When we invite our angels in as our advisors and friends, we are creating an opportunity to work in partnership with them. They are here to bring us inspiration and to create opportunities for success and synchronicity in our lives. But we must be open and surrender to these daily miracles. Synchronicity can take many forms. A friend suddenly calls you on the phone with words of wisdom. You are invited to an opening, a class, or a special event where you meet someone important to your life. A book falls off the shelf with just the answers you are looking for. You find out about a job opening that is perfect for you, or a doctor's appointment suddenly appears that wasn't available before. The opportunities for these kinds of daily, miraculous events are many if we will pay attention. When these kind of events happen, you know that your angels are working on your behalf and that you are in the flow of spirit. It is also important to express our gratitude and thanks to these tireless helpers who are working for our success. If you are wholeheartedly open to inviting angels into your life, they will get to work on your behalf to open the right doors. Remember, even when we don't know it, angels are operating around us all the time. I invite you to join me in this quest to not only understand, but also to marvel at the miracle of angels as they reach out to us as divine messengers of love. My heartfelt prayer is that each of you will meet and rejoice in your angels, for their essence is love, their appearance is light, and their purpose is the healing and illumination of the world. How angels appear in our world. The most popular conception of angels derives from the three Abrahamic religions of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. But there are stories of such heavenly winged beings in many other cultures across the world. These accounts go back to the ancient cultures of Sumer, Babylon, Assyria, India, Japan, and Persia, and accounts can also be found in Chinese, Norse, and Native American cultures. While these celestial beings may sometimes appear with great and glorious wings or shining auras of white light, angels also seem to have the ability to change their appearance at will. Angels may appear as gigantic human beings, as the angel Gabriel did when he first met Muhammad in the cave, or they may take the form of human beings, as in the stories about Abraham and Lot that are found in the Old Testament accounts. Angels can appear and disappear at will, and may choose to appear as a regular person to help in times of crisis. At other times, they may appear as brightly lit bodies or come to us in our dreams. Angels are not always visible. Sometimes we only experience them through a feeling, a resonance, a smell, a touch, or a deep feeling of peace that comes over us in a time of stress or crisis. This kind of encounter can be just as important as a physical encounter, even though it is often far more subtle. These luminous beings are more active and real in the world today than most people realize. As a clairvoyant whose inner sight is opened, I have been blessed with the ability to see and work with many higher dimensional beings of light who exist on multiple levels of reality. I have conversed with, learned from, and been uplifted by many kinds of higher dimensional beings, including spiritual sages and masters, joyful nature devas, creative muses of inspiration, shamanic animals, gods and goddesses, and several different kinds of spirit guides. While these beings have their own roles to play in our human world as they offer up their unique services to the divine, angels hold a unique place in my heart. Of all the exquisite beings of light who inhabit the inner realms, the angels have been there for me the most often. In their tireless commitment to our spiritual evolution, they awaken my heart with awe and devotion as I watch them assist each client and person who comes before me. Mysticism and science. If we stop to think about it, we will realize that the spiritual world is vast, and that our understanding of these realms is far more limited than we would like for it to be. As human explorers, we are just on the first frontier of discovering these inner realms. Fortunately, the latest discoveries in quantum physics give us a framework for starting to conceive the profound vastness that we call reality. Through the writings of quantum physicists, we now know that our third-dimensional realm is nested in a much larger, multidimensional universe, which contains at least 10-dimensional planes or dimensions. What this means is that we are constantly surrounded by invisible dimensions that remain mostly hidden from us. While we usually remain largely oblivious to these realms, each of these planes has its own landscapes and inhabitants that can interface with our realm from time to time. Angels dwell within these realms, interacting with the human world when called for or needed. The spiritual traditions of shamanism, mysticism, and spiritually enlightened teachers have told us this for a very long time. Today, as science strives to understand how our materialistic world can interface with these more subtle realms, scientists have begun systematic investigations into many forms of psychic phenomena. This includes telepathy, energy healing, radionics, and miracles created by prayer. Mystics and meditators have told us about these subtle realms for centuries. Now, even pragmatists have seen human beings experience these transcendental realms. For the first time in nearly 2,000 years, science and spirituality are coming together with an understanding that there are other worlds of higher vibration that exist above, beyond, and within our own world. These dimensions have inhabitants, and angels are among their number. With the advent of video cameras and surveillance systems, we now have physical recordings of these great messengers of light, which defy our traditional explanations. Ultimately, the most powerful evidence we can ever have is our own experience with an angel. Then, there is no room for doubt. These kinds of personal, life-changing experiences awaken us to the realm of sages and mystics, people who long ago trained their hearts, minds, and spirits to align with the vibration of God. In doing so, they gained access to the realms where angels dwell and were able to glimpse the heavenly worlds. Near-death experiences and hypnotherapy. Over the past few decades, modern medicine has grown, and many people have returned from near-death experiences. We now have thousands of reports of heaven. People report entering a luminous realm of sound and light, filled with immense and radiant landscapes. Sometimes a deceased person is greeted by angelic beings of light, or once they enter the celestial city, they see large, robust angelic beings. Some angels hold swords, scrolls, or even books of wisdom as they greet the soul who is entering its new life. Over the past few decades, modern hypnotherapists have begun to consciously explore these territories of life between life with clients in deep theta states. This is a somnambulistic state, where the conscious mind has little or no influence, but where a person may contact their own higher self. When the client is in this deep state of connection with the spirit realm, the hypnotherapist will often encourage them to make contact with their own celestial angels. Not only has this resulted in the discovery of profound inner landscapes, but also the mechanisms of learning for the soul, which take place between our physical lifetimes. Along the way, researchers have discovered the concept of soul families, who sometimes incarnate together, karmic councils, which review a soul's progress at the end of each life, and powerful angels or spirit guides, who follow each soul's progress during their time here on Earth. The journey of the soul. Through the teachings of sages, masters, and saints in many ancient paths of wisdom, we know that each one of us is an eternal soul. We are each in the process of learning, and our adventures here on Earth are a kind of schoolroom that we agreed to before we were ever born. However, once we arrive on Earth as children, we forget the path of destiny that we have chosen, so each of us is challenged to take the tests of life without remembering the answers. While we are here, opportunities are presented for learning fundamental lessons about the nature of love and life. This includes the awakening of courage, honor, kindness, humility, forgiveness, and service to others. We must learn to love ourselves in the process. As we progress in our understanding of and service to the spirit of love, we move into a higher state of oneness with the divine. Love connects us all. Between our lives, we return to the celestial realms to heal our wounds, review our past choices, and prepare for our next incarnation. Eventually, we return to the earth with a new set of lessons to master. However, we do not come into this world alone. In each life, we are accompanied by angelic beings who know us at the deepest of levels. These profound beings of light understand our strengths and weaknesses and are familiar with the life plan we decided on before we were ever born. These are the wise, patient guardian angels who have volunteered to assist us on our journeys, and they may become so fond of us that they will choose to stay with us for multiple lifetimes. In some lives, only 1 or 2 angels accompany us. Sometimes we may have masters who have chosen to help with a particular spiritual mission. In other lives, we may have angelic specialists on our team. These highly advanced beings are knowledgeable in a particular area of activity and have powerful skills to help us in our life's mission. Often, this mission is activated later in our life. Because the skills of our guides are tailored to the choices we have made for the life ahead of us, these angelic specialists often will be on standby until we have reached the point that we need them. They await a time in our lives when we will decide of our own free will to step into a specific role of spiritual service. Then they will come forward. Our deeper mission of service may be to write a book, work with children, express our creativity, or become a counselor or healer who will help others with their own spiritual evolution. Until we make the decision to go in that direction of our own free will, these ancillary guides will remain on the sidelines of our lives. Once we do, they can become strong allies in the spirit world to assist us in our life's work. The job of our personal angels is to assist us with our life plans. They cannot interfere with our choices, but when we ask them to, they can inspire us, encourage us, and keep us from harm. They also can serve as celestial messengers, relaying our deepest heart's desires to Spirit so that, when we are still enough to listen, we can fulfill the life mission for which we came. By attuning our hearts to love, we can connect to our higher self, open to our angels, and awaken as evolving citizens of the universe. Some people remain unaware of their angelic guides until their soul crosses over at the point of death. Unfortunately, we have not been taught to listen for our angels' guidance or to pay attention to our guides, even when our angels are urging us forward or trying to pull us back from danger. By becoming aware that these angelic beings are present with us now and are allies to our highest spiritual welfare, we can begin to open to the amazing world of celestial assistance that is as close to us as our own heartbeat. As we step into the magic and mystery of the angelic worlds, remember that angels are aligned with the highest light. Often, our ability to surrender our little selves will allow angels to come forth. When we do this with gratitude and humility, our hearts will open to the wisdom and love of the angelic kingdom and invite angels in to fulfill their missions. Angels among us. There are many kinds of angels, and each one has a different purpose which allows it to express the depth and breadth of its creative disposition. All angels are joined in service to the divine, and, like us, each angel is moving along a path of its own individual evolution. Since it is the nature of angels not to draw attention to themselves, but rather to serve the Creator in humility, angels do not need to appear to us visually. Their presence can be felt as a touch on the shoulder, as a reassuring hand on the arm, or even as a heavenly smell that fills the room. For some, it is a voice that speaks inside their head, telling them that, despite all appearances to the contrary, things will turn out all right. For others, it is a deep, knowing sense of peace that comes over them, as if an angel placed their hands upon the person's heart. The appearance of angels. Angels are beings of light who reside at the higher dimensional levels, so they may appear to us in many forms. As non-physical beings of light, they can change their appearance or shape at will, which means they can appear as celestial beings or even densify their bodies for a period of time so that they can accomplish a mission or make contact with one of us. This higher vibrating aspect gives them the ability to appear and disappear at will, something we hear about in many angelic accounts. I have seen angels with and without wings. The activation of the auric field looks a great deal like celestial wings, and this light can certainly be used by a celestial being as a radiant pair of wings. When angels are seen by mystics, they are often dressed in flowing, translucent gowns or glowing robes of light. This is how I usually see them. These clothes may be the emanation of radiance that comes from their bodies, but my mind interprets it as a garment. The color of an angel's robe often gives me a strong indication of the angel's many talents and how they have chosen to serve the divine. Angels of healing. Angels of healing usually come dressed in shades of green. Often this is a soft, gentle forest green or hunter green, lightened by many shades because of the angel's own translucent light. Occasionally, it will be a brighter spring green, grounded by deeper shades of forest green. Sometimes I will see softer shades of pastel yellow at the bottom hem of the gown, which gradually merges with green as it rises. These kinds of angels seem more cheerful and bright, while those who emanate hunter green seem older, more somber, and more deeply compassionate, as if they have seen the worst suffering of mankind, but still know how to bring us into wholeness. Angels of teaching. The angels of teaching will often arrive in various colors, depending on their specialties. The robes of these angels are often a deep or medium blue, but occasionally they may shift into a shade of purple. These colors are lightened by the interior radiance of their glow, but I can feel that they really exist as a deeper shade or color. The blue looks like the deep, rich hue of ultramarine or indigo paint, and there is wisdom or information of great depth stored in the color itself. Sometimes books of knowledge can be seen around an angel, along with a profound sense of gnosis, or knowing, that goes beyond the limitations of the human mind. Sometimes they carry knowledge of sacred geometry or even mathematical equations within themselves, and these energy fields contain entire matrices of information. Some angels display ancient hermetic symbols, which, when unlocked, release a cascade of multi-level information. Sometimes angels are holding books or scrolls. These are sometimes books of life, which describe not only each soul's past lives and soul journeys, but also their mission in this lifetime. These kinds of implements reveal something about the depth and breadth of that angel's knowledge and mission. Angels of unconditional love. All angels resonate with divine love and are non-judgmental because they understand the larger picture of our spiritual evolution, and they know the vast courage it takes for a soul to come into the third-dimensional world and have amnesia about its origins. But there are certain angels that I have come to call the angels of unconditional love. These angels seem to have risen completely above the logic of the mind and emanate an unconditional peace that surpasses all understanding. These divine beings are under the umbrella and service of the Divine Mother Mary, Kuan Yin, Sophia, and other female bodhisattvas, or masters, who have been incarnations of the Divine Mother. These beautiful angels are always female, and they radiate an energy of the softest pink color, the pastel pink color of cotton candy. One time, some of these angels appeared to me when I was speaking at a conference. It was the second day of the event, and I had risen early in the morning to meditate. As I began to chant, Mary appeared, hovering in the room. Around her were 4 or 5 of these exquisite angels of love, Circling the Divine Mother with Song. Mother Mary came forward then and laid a mantle of the softest pink over my shoulders and head, as if to give me her blessing of unconditional love. Later that morning, after I had showered and dressed, I went downstairs to the conference, and another speaker unexpectedly came up to me. Her face was filled with wonder, as if she could see the aura around me. "I see that you are an incarnation of the Divine Mother herself. Your work is to spread love and wisdom into the world," she shared with me. I hardly knew how to answer her because I was still in a deeply altered state from the blessing I had received earlier. I nodded and bowed my head in gratitude, knowing that what this woman was seeing was the celestial grace I had just received from Mother Mary. How can I express how much this touched me? It was an affirmation of the power of these gentle but profound beings of light. The angels of unconditional love emanate the love of the divine in every moment, and they are true emissaries of the peace, love, and grace of the Creator. Angels of Creativity. Angels of creativity are like joyous sisters, and usually they travel together in groups of 2, 3, 4, or 5. These angels are always female in nature, and they can be called muses. Each one of these angels seems to specialize in a particular aspect of creative expression, such as poetry, music, drama, writing, or dance. Some are angels of color, design, pottery, jewelry, or sculpture. These vivacious, charming beings are spirits of inspiration, and they emanate joy by their very being. Their greatest delight is to inspire us to share our dormant creativity with other human beings. The angels of creativity that I have seen appear to be vibrating in pastel colors, each different depending on the angel's artistic gift. They are usually swimming around the person that they are there to inspire, and they use color to inspire their charges. This color sensitivity can be applied to many things: decorating, fashion, jewelry, painting, or even a healing practice. Together, these angels look like rainbow beings in a joyous dance of light. Angels of creativity are very chatty because they like to share the inspiration of ideas, and since many human beings don't hear them, they will chat with one another, exchanging energy, thoughts, and ideas. The angels are very loyal to individuals who have been their vessels for creativity in past lives. Their job is to bring creative inspiration into the world, and this means that they must first find individuals receptive to them, as well as souls willing to work to bring these ideas into manifestation, whether it is conducting a symphony, writing a screenplay, choreographing a ballet, or writing a book. When they find a willing channel that can bring forth their light, they do not forget this alliance. They will continue to work with that soul, but the artistic expression of gifts may change from life to life. Since their primary purpose is to open our minds to inspiration so that we can awaken our creative talents, you can choose to invite them in to help you with any creative or inspirational project. And even if you only have a couple of these guides, let's say in dance or music, but you want to start writing songs or poetry, you can ask the muses to call in their sisters to help you. They wait for the moment when you will choose once again to dedicate yourself as a channel of creativity and a vessel for the light of God, which they bring. Angels of Light and the Hall of Records. Within the many heavenly realms of God, there are exquisite temples of learning. Some of these halls of wisdom contain the books of life. The books of life are the Akashic records of all past lives of the various souls who have been incarnated on this planet. Their histories are recorded in the Akashic records and then stored within the great libraries of knowledge, particularly the Hall of Records. The great masters, who have had numerous human lifetimes, primarily oversee these individual soul records inside the libraries. But large angels of light protect these vast repositories from outside the Hall of Records. These tall, majestic angels will gladly escort a soul into these halls once the person has crossed over. To those still living here on Earth, it is important to know that, through meditation, spiritual training, and even through a dream state, we also can visit the Hall of Records and gain insight into our own soul's broader history. This
Sample complete. Ready to continue?